Welcome. This means life and death. This means football. This means VAR. Wow, I cannot believe I was that serious. Welcome to this week's edition of This Means VAR, presented by Jersey Store. In this week's edition, we're going to see the review of the 1920 season. Here we go! AFC Bournemouth. The Cherries got relegated after 5 years in the Premier League and they sacked their manager effective immediately. If Bournemouth had a prodigal son in attack, would they Callum Wilson? The best players in Bournemouth this season were Nathan Ake, Josh King and even Callum Wilson. Aaron Ramsdale did well as well. Their best moment? They beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Well done. The Gunners. Regretted under Emery, revitalized under Arteta. What do you call a defensive sandwich in London? Xhaka holding Saka. Sorry to lay that on you like that. The best players in Arsenal this season have been Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang without any question and Bernd Leno. Their best moment? They beat Manchester City and Liverpool in the same week. Wow, that's an achievement and a half. Aston Villa, 1 point from relegation after being promoted this season. They managed to stay. The midfield in Aston Villa looks jacked. The best players in Villa this season have been Jack Grealish and John McGinn. And their best moment? Well, they don't really have one because they've spent £100 million just to stay in the Premier League. Gotta watch out for next season, guys. The Seagulls are here to stay as well. But just like Villa, they got 1 point of safety. If Glenn had to propose, would he ask, "Would you marry me?" And would he kneel down? Oh, that was so bad. The best players in Brighton this season were Neil Maupay, Leandro Trossard and even Matthew Ryan. Their best moment? They beat Tottenham. The Clarets finished 10th this season, which is pretty good, but they boast something better. They have the second most clean sheets this season in the Premier League. What do you call a top right corner effort being saved by something stationary? A pop-up picture. Sorry about that. The best players in Burnley this season have been Nick Pope, Jay Rodriguez and the whole backline of Burnley. Their best moment? When they beat Manchester United at Old Trafford and ended a 72-year record. That's something. The Blues. Top 4 with 0 in the tank and millions in the bank. Chelsea need a new Kepa. Jan Oblak seems a good fit. The best players in Chelsea this season were Mason Mount, Willian, Giroud, even Christian Pulisic. Their best moment was when they beat Manchester City to hand Liverpool the title. Don't claim this one, Chelsea fans. The Eagles always find a way to stay in the Premier League and they love to annoy the top 6. Dear West Ham, when Palace said, "Are you ready?" they meant it. The best players in Palace this season have been Jordan Ayew, their top scorer, and yeah, you guessed it, Wilfried Zaha. That's a surprise. Their best moment? They beat Manchester United at Old Trafford too. The Toffees. They're usually a top 10 team, but because of all the changes to management, they dropped to 12th. Everton are the definition for the phrase building strong, basement weak. And they've also done more business with Barcelona than their own sponsors. The best players in Everton this season have been Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison and even Lucas Digne. Their best moment was when they beat Chelsea after sacking Marco Silva. They came back to do it with Duncan Ferguson. The Foxes deserved a top 4 spot this season, but because of their injuries, they had to go out of the running. Verse 9-0 of the Bible reads that if Jamie Vardy gets behind your backline, you really need to pray for an offside flag because he just won't miss. The best players this season? Top scorer himself, Jamie Vardy, and the rest of the 10 players. For me, Leicester City have been absolutely spot on this season. Their best moment when they beat Southampton 9-0 and they equaled a long-standing record. Liverpool, champions of the Premier League after 30 years. Well done. Some people think that the best striker is from Liverpool. For me, no. Sorry about that. The best players in Liverpool this season have undoubtedly been everyone. It was an all-round effort and they proved it. Their best moment? I needn't say, lifting the coveted Premier League trophy. Manchester City. Despite finishing second in the league, they boast scoring the most number of goals and keeping the most number of clean sheets. City fans, the banners in Etihad read "We're not really here." We know, we notice that on normal match days. And you have invested more money on your defense than most countries. Live with that. The best players in City this year: Kevin De Bruyne, undoubtedly the player of the season; Fernandinho, who had to adapt to a new position; and Kyle Walker, who plays for the badge. Their best moment? Beating Liverpool after they were confirmed champions. But you really don't have a best moment because you let Liverpool win the league. Thanks for that. The Red Devils, 22 days in the Premier League top 4 and they secured a third place spot. How about the fact that if Bruno Fernandes did not sign for Manchester United, they would have had to go to Jesse Lingard and Andreas Pereira for midfield options? Just leaving it there. The best players in Man United this season: Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial as well. Mason Greenwood, look out for him. Their best moment? Well, they finished in the top 3 after 22 days in the top 4. That's an achievement. The Magpies are here to stay. Alan Saint-Maximin. Just leaving it there. Their best player this season? Alan Saint-Maximin. Their best moment this season? Alan Saint-Maximin. Who should go for manager next season? Alan Saint-Maximin. Who should stand for president of the United States of America? Let me guess, Alan Saint-Maximin. The Canaries. Pretty unfortunate that they had to leave the Premier League in this style. They actually started off well and they had some of the best talents we've seen in a while. The Norwich City fans would have survived the hurricane before they survived this season, unfortunately. Their best players: Todd Cantwell, Teemu Pukki and even Max Aarons. Their best moment was when they beat Manchester City 3-2. That's a big achievement. Well done. The Blades are here to stay. Fantastic job by Chris Wilder and his men. They took this league by a storm. I mean, a Tupperware box would be less compact than this Sheffield team. Their best players include Dean Henderson and John Lundstrom. Their best moment? Finishing in the top 10 after just being promoted from the second league. Well done, Blades. This team is the example of never give up. They lost 9-0 to Leicester City at home and they managed to finish above Everton in the league table. Not a great statistic to have, Everton fans. The best player in Southampton this season? Too easy. Danny Ings. Their best moment was when they beat Manchester City. Well done. Tottenham Hotspur. Champions League finalists just about a year back. Your school probably has more trophies than this team. Sorry about that. The best players in Tottenham this season, although there weren't many: Heung-min Son, who got the goal of the season, and Harry Kane, because he always performs. Their best moment? Steven Bergwijn's debut goal against Manchester City. That is one to remember. The Hornets are not staying in the Premier League this season and that is unfortunate. But had it not been for Nigel Pearson, their fate would have been long sealed. Watford lost to every other team in the league, but they managed to beat Liverpool. You see the irony in this, don't you? Their best players this season: Ben Foster, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Ismail Assar. Their best moment, or the only moment, was when they beat Liverpool. The Irons had a textbook West Ham season. They were relegation threatened and that's when they decided to play some good football. London is blue, they said. No, you said. Well done, West Ham fans. You did the double over Chelsea this season and that is your best moment so far. Your best players were Felipe Anderson, no question. Declan Rice, definitely no question. and even Mikel Antonio towards the end of the season. The Wolves, the Portuguese Devils, the kryptonite of the top 6. Talk about falling in love. Watch Matt Doherty take on Nicholas Otamendi. Some say he's still falling. The best player in Wolves this season was Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore. What a season both of them have had. Their best moment, they did the double over Manchester City like Manchester United. But before we go, here's a contest for you lot. All these pictures you're about to see now have something in common. If you get it right, you get a jersey from Jersey Store of your favorite club with a number of your choice and your name at the back. Well, that's it for this week, folks. The Premier League season 1920 is officially over. But the good news is it starts again in September. So before that, why don't you use this coupon code and get yourself a nice jersey of the club you support for the next season. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe because we really need it. We really do. Thank you so much for watching. This is Vaibhav and this means VAR. Take care.